Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Guadalupe Gonzalez. I am the chair for the Mayfair NAC at the Mayfair community. It is a big issue concerning the construction for this school at the Jackson site. What I'm concerned is the safety of our kids. With all the traffic, we have 4 different intersections for the freeways, less than a couple blocks away, and also 4 major avenues intersection. Another issue is the size of the lot. Our schools in Alum Rock are required to have at least 5 acres for this number of students. I think before taking any decisions, the community needs to be outraged, and this is not the case. You need to be aware of the community where you want to build and not to create another blight zone. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Juan Estrada and I'm president of District 5 United and a board member of United Neighborhoods of Santa Clara County. But I'm here today as a concerned San Jose resident. I've expressed concerns in the past and I'm here to speak on behalf of residents of District 5, concerned community members. There were only 4 business days between the Planning Commission recommendation and today. The community knew that this would come to council, so there was no need to go to the Planning Commission hearing. The decision makers are here. There was inadequate outreach. We've heard only 3 people showed up at the meeting. And what I want to show you, if the PowerPoint goes up, is something that you saw on November 19th, which is that Rocket Ship's API has consistently dropped 26 points per year on average. And this trend is alarming. I also want to point out that we are counting on our council member, Javier Campos, and those of you who will choose to make a good planning decision as opposed to simply supporting an organizational structure. We hope that you
Sorry, your time is up.
Deny it. Thank
Monica.
you.
Hello, my name is Monica. Okay, so as you can see above, the proposed location is across the street from an adult video store and a liquor store. It's unclear why Rocket Ship would choose this type of location. So many alternative exists. The proposed Rocket Ship Jackson School is a tiny school. Let me put it into perspective. Nearby Cesar Chavez Elementary is around 8 acres. Rocket Ship Jackson Street is 1.25 acres. That's more than 6 times smaller. Rocket Ship Jackson is so tiny it could easily fit inside the little field behind Cesar Chavez. That includes buildings, parking lots, play structures, and everything else. Cesar Chavez has less than 100 students per acre. This proposed rocket ship would cram young children in at an incredible rate of more
I'm sorry, your time is up.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is actually Alex. I'm just a concerned citizen, and I'm opposed of the rocket ship site. So I'd just like to start off by saying a lot of the claims that are made by rocket ship may not be necessarily true. So you have Jessica Garcia Cole here stating that they're in the top 5% performing just generally, but from their own board meeting, you can see that they may score 25% higher in math, but when it comes to the English learning assessment, they actually score an average amount. So here, if you actually add up all the different scores from all the different performing schools, you can see that it's just average. It's not above average, so that's one claim that isn't accurate. And so I'm sure you're all familiar with San Jose's vision for 2040. So, under the education system, education portion of that, they actually state that, or they're going to try and follow the California Department of Education school site recommendations. And you can see for a population of about 700 students, there should be about 13 acres, and the proposed size of the current place is only 1.24. So, I mean, that's an extremely small area. It may not be. Sorry,
your time is up.
Thank you.
Guadalupe Rodriguez.
Thank you for having me today. My name is Guadalupe Rodriguez, and I'm here to address you as a concerned citizen, to ask you to please vote against the rezoning for the rocket ship location at Jackson Avenue. I'm here, in a similar vein to talk a little bit about some of the claims that proponents of the schools make, and not to say that we're anti-school, anti this particular school or anti-charter. I think the point is that there are very grave concerns that we have as a community about these schools and about the claims that they make about performance in comparison with schools in these areas where they are. I think one particular claim that I'd like to point out is the claim that they have a 30-to-1 teacher-to-child student ratio, or student-to-child teacher ratio, which in their own documents shows that is actually an accurate claim when they have more than 40 student teacher ratio. I think it's very important to really look at all of the claims and understand that there are grave issues and concerns that the community has about the value of these schools and the purported quality that they have in the areas where they're trying to cram all of these students.
Sorry, your time is up.
Thank you.
Gonzalez, Guadalupe.
Good evening. My name is Roxana Marashi. I'm a professor of educational psychology at San Jose State University. My research has focused on relational aspects of the learning environment that impact students' learning, motivation, and behavior. Despite the many concerns that have been raised by community members about the expansion of rocket ship schools, many supporters stick to the school choice argument with an assumption that rocket ship schools are closing the achievement gap. I'd like to remind you that there is no research basis for this claim. The achievement gap is rooted in literacy opportunities. Dr. Anna Susskind, professor of surgery and pediatrics at the University of Chicago, has investigated differences in literacy and language in early developmental years that set the stage for the achievement gap. Her research underscores the need for focused attention to language and literacy learning, especially in the early years. If children are required to stare at computer screens for long periods of time during their day, 80-minute blocks, they face a massive loss of opportunity for active speaking, listening, and engaging in rich social communication that is the cornerstone of truly closing the achievement gap. Please consider that the solo screen experience will likely contribute to a widening rather than closing of the achievement gap in literacy. In addition to rocket ship's failure to produce any meaningful differences in language arts scores, their consistent declines in overall test scores over the past 5 years may be early evidence of such a trend.
Sorry. We have a motion. I think we're done with the council discussion. The motion is to approve items A and B, the zoning and mitigated negative declaration items, and to take up the conditional use permit next week after the second reading. So that is the motion. On that motion, all in favor? Opposed? I count 1, 2, opposed. That's Oliverio and Campos opposed. Motion carries. So we will consider the conditional use permit next week after the second reading of the ordinance. Assuming that the second reading is approved, we deal with the conditional use permit then. And we now need to take up the continuation of the hearing from item 4.1, which was a TEFRA hearing and consideration of approval of conduit financing. We already approved C.C. Poitier Academy, Brilliant Minds Elementary. We still need to finish the hearing on R.S. Jackson Avenue School. I have no requests to speak as far as I know. We have a motion to approve. Anybody wanted to speak on the TEFRA hearing that didn't manage to get here this afternoon? None? Okay. We have a motion to approve. On the motion, all in favor? Opposed? One opposed. Councilmember Oliverio. Motion carries. So, we're practically done. All we have to do is take up medical marijuana.
Mayor?
Councilmember Campos.
Before we move on to the next item, I want to be consistent with, again, I was struggling with this, but I think it is the proper land use decision, so I'm going to change my vote to a yes vote on the rezoning to commercial pedestrian and the mitigated neg deck, and then I'll deal with the other issue next week. Thank you.
Okay with the clerk, city attorney, we're okay after that means one vote against, Councilmember Oliverio. Okay. Moving on then to item 8.1, actions related